Alright, before you move, you can remove the brake pads and the caliper holders. What you got to do is remove this pin. To remove this pin, all you got to do is get a big screwdriver. Leverage is here, push it that way. That will release the hook that's under here. And you just got to get a plier, grab, pull this back, and that's out. Okay, the next step is to remove the brake pad sensor. That's just here. Okay, that's out. And then next step is to take out the glide pins, which is up here. Right. There's one up here, and there's one down here. Okay. To get that glide pin out, you need a 11mm hex. Because I don't have an 11mm hex, I managed to get a 7/16 hex. That'll do just fine. Alright, to remove the glide pin, I've got my hex key in at the moment. It's a 7/16. There shouldn't be too much torque in these. It should just be tight. Alright, let me go. There you go, that's one out. I just got to be removing the bottom glide pin. There shouldn't be too much torque in it like the top one. There you go, and that's out. Right, the next step is to remove the brake pads. For me, all I do is going to use this flathead screwdriver and pretty much squeeze open the caliper at the top and at the bottom. Just really slowly. It should be loose pretty soon. There we go. Now I've got that loose. Okay, it's gonna remove calipers. It's gonna rest it up here. What I'm going to do now is push these pistons back. I'm leaving the old pad there, and I'm just going to use this brake caliper tool to just squeeze the piston back. And because there are two pistons here, I've just got to continually switching from one piston to another. Now, of course, as I'm squeezing this, the brake fluid level would have gone up. I've already taken some fluid out before I started this procedure, so I think I should be safe. Right, next part is to remove this piece here. There are two big bolts behind here that's holding it together. And for this particular car, you need a 21mm ring spanner. So this is on really tight, so I'm going to have to use a hammer to knock it out. Right, so I've actually tied the caliper up here to here so that it doesn't fall off while I'm knocking these bolts out. So this is on really tight, so what I've got to do is actually use a big hammer and pretty much just continually just knocking it up to loosen the bolt. Right, so this piece here was actually held at the back by this very big bolt. It was quite an effort to get it out. Now that I've got it out, this was stuck on pretty tight, so what I did was I put back one of the wheel bolt back, and I just had to use this hammer, knocked around here and also from back here to get it out. Before putting on the new rotor, I actually put anti-seize all around this plate here, so that the next person who works on or replacing the rotors on this car won't have such a hard time getting the rotors out. Right, so after I put on the anti-seize, I'm going to put on the new rotors. So these are actually Zimmermans. I got them at a pretty good price on eBay. Now what we're going to do is make sure we line up all the holes. Right, so this one here is for this little bolt. Right there. And for these you need a Torx 30, one of these. Of course, with all these bolts, you always hand tighten it first. Okay. Right, the next part is to put this back on, but before I do that, I'm going to put some brake lube on the inside part where the pad will glide or will sit on. So I'm just tightening the two bolts that holds the I can't remember what this piece is called, but that's where the caliper holder screws into. Okay. Right, so this is where I've got the brake lube, where the brake pad, this is gonna sit on here. Before I put on the brake pad, I'm just gonna put a bit of brake lube just where the piston makes contact with the back of the pad. This will just prevent or reduce the risk of any brake noise. Alright, it's comparing the thickness of, that's the brand new and that's the old one. Okay, I've also put a bit of brake lube right where this little metal bit here that glide into the piston. Okay, before I put on this brake pad, I'm just going to put some brake lube wherever it's going to contact with this piece here, just to reduce any chance of any noise or squealing. Right, this pad can have a bit of has a adhesive, so I'm just gonna pull that out. Take this out. Rest the pad in place. And set it in. Right. So here's the glide pins that we took out before with the 7/16 hex key. Before I put that in, I'm gonna give it a good clean, and then put some brake lube in it so that it's easy for it to glide once it's installed. Okay, so this is the top glide pin. So I've only put, if you can see the brake lip, which is only at the, I guess at the front, because as you put this in, it's just gonna get squeezed towards the back anyway. So here we go. Okay, now that I've got both glide pins on, I'm just gonna put the cap back on the top. And you're not gonna see what I'm doing at the back, but it's gonna be at the bottom cap. This clip back on, so this and this here actually goes into this hole. So you gotta make sure that as you put it in, it actually goes into that hole.